So phase 3 is now creating urgency through loving honesty. So what I'm picturing here is you've got your regrowth team. You may have been meeting now a few hours monthly to work on the convictions, to work on how we're going to teach it and model it. And now you come to the phase of thinking about the whole church and evaluating and diagnosing where is our church at in terms of convictions and practice. But if you don't look at your own life first, that's hypocritical, isn't it? So let's get our own lives underway as a regrowth team, as elders and pastors, before we start analysing and thinking about the convictions and practice in the whole church. Godly discontentment is a precursor for change. We don't want to be running regrowth teams with a critical spirit. Why would we be discontent with God's people? I mean, it's God's church and He's called people, and what is there to be discontent about? Not much, really. We believe we are the redeemed, and we're calling the other redeemed to be with us, and we enjoy the fellowship with each other. So why discontentment? Because Christ is not honoured yet. When Paul came to Athens, he was deeply distressed because he saw the city was full of idols. You're discontent about that. I'm discontent about that. Australia, America are worshipping idols. Increasingly, generations of Australians don't even know the name of Christ. A PhD student in English a little while ago told us she had no idea when she was a non-Christian that there was an Old Testament and a New Testament. You can grow up in Australia now having no idea of what is in the Bible, even the structure of the Bible, and have your PhD in English literature. It's an ignorant, ignoring generation. And you and I are discontented with that. We cry about that. We weep about that. We call out to God to reveal Him. Every day I do that. Call out, show yourself to our generation. And a lot of the scriptures are about that, aren't they? Hezekiah and parts of the Lamentations and so on is, where are you, God? Why don't you fulfill your promise? It's what the Lord's Prayer is. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. May your kingdom come. So it's that kind of discontentment will foster change and growth. And so it comes from the Bible, teaching the Bible. We can teach the Bible to give them a spiritual hit for the week, give them a verse to think about, keep them going for another week till they come again. Or we can teach the Bible by challenging the frameworks, challenging the ways people think, challenging the world views, challenging our middle class values, challenging our inability to welcome the stranger. Teaching the cosmic Christ who's over all of America and all the 250 nations of the world, calling people to be an eternal. There's just a way of teaching the Bible that makes people too comfortable. Yes, people need comfort. The cancer patient, I need comfort. Everyone needs comfort, but there's an urgency. If our message is true, which it is, there's an absolute urgency to get it out there clearly through all of it. And if we preach to comfort people without provoking people, then that'll affect the culture of the church, won't it? It'll be a comfortable church. It'll be a community. It'll be where I find solace. And in the breakdown of our societies, certainly here and in Australia, the breakdown of family community and relationships, there's an enormous temptation for the goal to become a nice community. And that's not what God's doing. It is a beautiful community, the church, but it's a very provocative community. It's a community that admonishes, that corrects, that rebukes, that tells people when they're not believing the truth and encourages them to learn the truth. It's a community that people leave because they don't want to believe the truth. It's a sharp community. It's a Colossians 3 kind of community where there's admonishing one another and teaching one another. It's that kind of community and that kind of Bible teaching. So there are different starting points. The confused church, the comfortable church, the cluttered church, the conflicted church, the cynical church. You kind of get the idea, don't you? Confused in terms of the DNA, the theological underpinnings of the church, comfortable in the ways I've just talked about, of creating a community that's very nice and comfortable and warm, and people want that because of the broken communities that they're in, but there's no urgency. It's cluttered in terms of the programs. There's just so many things on and you're not sure which one you're supposed to go to, and everyone's so busy they don't get really to talk to each other much. Certainly don't get to talk to their neighbours much. Conflicted in terms of relationships and dysfunction and repentance that needs to happen and disunity. And the cynical church, you've gone through so many books and so many programs and so many change. No one believes you that it'll ever happen. People are just cynical. So 2 discussions now.